G'day and welcome to Semen Retention. This morning, it's probably quite a warm morning for an autumn here in Melbourne, and I want to talk about just some experiences that I had recently. So, as you know, if you've been following my channel, I have passed 1 year of semen retention a couple of weeks ago, April 6th. And this wasn't a what I'd call a completely sex-free semen retention streak, because I actually did have one encounter in January. Now, last night would be encounter number 2, so I've still held on. I even said to her, "Yeah, look, I'm not gonna, you know." And look, to be honest, if I felt some sort of deep connection, I probably would have. But the fact of the matter is, I've been talking to this girl probably about, I want to say maybe 2 weeks now. You know, proper like conversations, talking on the phone for a bit. She was the one that would kind of escalate it into kind of, you know, sexual topics. But what happened was, I ended up playing a gig last night, and we met up and we went and had like a couple of wines at a at a wine bar, and yeah, that was, for me, I was like, well, if I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink wine, because at least wine is probably the least poisonous out of them all. So, in my head, I'm like, we're just going on a little date thing. But then as the night progressed, she's like, oh, I can give you a lift home. I'm talking about like taking me on an hour drive back home. And so she did, and I was like, well, I know what she's after. Let's roll the dice. So I rolled the dice, and essentially I still managed to retain, which is great. But I kind of lost all respect for her in that moment, and I was like, you know what? That's a good compromise. I would rather get a lift home and get to the bottom of someone's true nature than to have got a train home and then messaged her later being like, oh, you know, let's meet up again and continue this kind of screening process, I guess you could say. But yeah, basically I want to kind of move on from this, and I will respectfully reach out to her in a sense, but I'm not going to be, pursuing her, so to say. So I guess the whole point of this whole, video is to say that nothing is more valuable than holding onto your seed. And yeah, like, this is someone that we're having funny conversations about either previous experiences or like people that she knows that are going through some certain experiences and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, it just baffles me thinking that this is the majority of women out there. I don't know. Is it really? Saying that she's got a hypersexual drive. I'm pretty sure everyone's got a hypersexual drive. It's called hormones. And, we talk about lust and controlling lust, and there's a reason why every religion has talked about lust, as far as I'm aware. And yeah, I am in the ability right now to harness my lust and use it into anything. I can use my lust into a simple little stage move on in my performance, in my musical performance, because the fact of the matter is that we've been given these emotions and these feelings, but we don't necessarily have to go all out and deplete ourselves. To put an analogy, we have these muscles. We could go running for every human being of natural weight could go for probably, I'd say, about 50 kilometers. I don't know how many miles that is, unfortunately, guys, but a marathon's length of running, not necessarily sprinting, but they could do a normal kind of walking pace for a marathon's length, and they'd survive. They could do probably a little bit more than that, but they wouldn't be doing that because that would be draining their energy. They'd have built up of lactic acid. They'd have, a lot of sore muscles and joints and all that kind of stuff. And the same goes for lust. We can use it in a way of expressing ourselves and expressing our sexuality, but we don't need to necessarily deplete ourselves. I haven't attained brahmachari, and I'm still revising the text. I still think it's a great thing to strive for. I think being the age that I'm in right now, there still seems to be some sort of like part of me that wants to experience, but I'm still holding on to the seed. So it's a bit of a tug of war. But essentially, the side that's winning is the side that's holding on to the seed, because as soon as I release it, game over. So when I consider all this, like the nature of females and all that kind of stuff, like, I just have to come to the conclusion that either I go for the investment of time, like for example, spending money on a couple of drinks, maybe some snacks or whatever with them. Was it worth meeting them? Yeah, I think it was. I think it was worth meeting them. There was a good kind of intellectual chemistry there, and there was obviously some like flirting and all that kind of stuff, and that's always good for your ego. Not that I necessarily need validation, but I think it's always good to know that you can still pull. And I think the other thing is that knowing that like I'm in control always, no matter how much you see, the thing is when you are on a long streak of semen retention, you're happy to go spend $100 or whatever to go meet someone, so then you don't spend another 6 hours talking to them ever again. Because in my world, those numbers don't add up, I can't justify spending that amount of time further getting to know someone that I already got to the bottom of. You got to understand this logic, guys, is that it's not worth playing the long game with people that really want to throw themselves at you. You either got to just, palm them back, or you've got to just meet them, treat them, and deplete them. Wow. So I wanted to be really honest in this episode, because I've told you about all my experiences on this 1 year streak of semen retention, coming up to 1 year and 1 month. The whole thing that is important for this whole culture that we're in, this semen retention culture, and which is mostly online. I think I've talked to probably about 5 or 6 people about semen retention that I'd consider friends. And basically what it is that we need to share our different ways of using this practice, because at the end of the day, it all revolves around one thing, and that's just retaining your seed. Some people would get really, annoyed about the fact that, maybe I've seen a woman. Some people would be annoyed about the fact that I saw a woman and didn't even release or didn't even do anything. Some people would get annoyed about the fact that I don't even want to consider seeing her again. And that's all up to your own beliefs. But here on Semen Retention, the whole philosophy is to share you my experience, so then you don't feel as bad trying to share your own experience or trying to relate to it. Like, let's say some of the biggest YouTube semen retention commentators are like Christian or something like that. Maybe you're not Christian, because I'm not Christian. I actually bought a Bible last year. I started reading it. I do value a lot of Christian ideologies, but I would never get myself baptized or put myself under the label of Christian. Now, one of the members in my band is a Christian. He married a Christian woman. And I have a lot of respect for him. And I have a lot of respect for Christians as well. So if you are a Christian and you're watching this, good for you, bro. I don't really care about religion, but I do think that your religion and what it teaches is pretty good for what it is. But on Semen Retention, we believe in God. We believe in taking all insights from all religions, being all-encompassing of everything. That's why I've got such a great community at the moment, of a small community, like only a handful of people that I actually interact with from this channel. But we're sharing information, we're sharing PDFs, we're sharing documents and studies. I'm having conversations with people on the phone, because why wouldn't you want to get to know people that are resonating with what you have to say? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to create like a collective where we could literally be like the next generation of Renaissance kind of people? I'm not joking about this shit. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys here. Ever since I was young, I was always doing advanced mathematics. I was always good at English. Like, I was always good at writing. I was learning piano at a young age, from the age of 5, and before I even had lessons, I was playing music. I've always been writing stories. I've always been creative, drawing. When I hit puberty, I began to be pretty decent at sports. Like, I'm a very good runner. I've ran 2 marathons. Look, I'm not trying to just boast and brag here. All I'm trying to say is that I'm a different breed, and I think the people that watch my videos are as well. And I think the people that watch my videos do have a higher intellect, because to even be on semen retention and to even like resonate with the things that I talk about, you have to have a higher level of intellect. 100%. I'm not even joking. Like, so yeah, like I just think that like it's important to document every single aspect, because essentially what this YouTube thing is, it's not only like a diary kind of documentation thing, but if you think about it, it's almost like a science experiment to see, like, let's just say the creator, let's use God as an example. And we can make God synonymous with AI, like a simulator, like simulation AI kind of like computer thing, yeah? So let's say that every time I make a video, I'm feeding data into the topic of semen retention. And it's gathering all this data, and then I put in my experiences with these girls that I've slept with and haven't released with. And then suddenly I become a reference point for people on semen retention that maybe want to do that, you know? Maybe they want to do that and hold on because they know they've got the self-control to hold on to their seed. They know that they can communicate with women when, you know, they want to stop, you know? And the funny thing is that, like, this is a bit sadistic, but I think a lot of the time women's egos are because they think that, you know, maybe you bought them drinks, or, you know, maybe you complimented their outfit or something like that, that they think that they're going to get your seed. Because I think subconsciously that's all they want. Let's be honest, that's like, women wouldn't be out here with birth control if they were having sex with people that they could afford to have babies with, you know. It's literally just a matter of finances as to why some people are remaining on these pills and contraceptions. So I guess what I'm trying to say about that is they really want our seed, and when you reject it, there's a bit of an ego disposition there, where they start to understand that you're a man that can't be depleted, you're a man that can't be drained, you're a man that is in full control, even if you set an illusion that maybe they had a bit of control, you know. And I'm not playing games with them. I was completely honest to both of the girls before we were doing the deed that I've been practicing celibacy for a while and stuff like that. So coming into it, did they really think that I was just going to give it up for them? Let's be honest, guys. Would you give it up for someone that you just met the first time? I don't know. I don't know why my two interactions in the last 3 months, January and now April, I don't know why they've both been one-night stands. But I mean, I guess it's up to me if I want to turn it into something more, but I just can't see it. You got to really be on my frequency these days, otherwise I'm out. Anyway, another day, another dollar. So I'm going to finish this video on a bit of a brighter note. I've got a gig today at a campground. It is Easter weekend, so it's Easter Saturday today. And yeah, like, I played at this campground in January, and I manifested so much money at that gig. I was only meant to get paid $500 for that gig, and then I ended up getting tips and tips and tips. I made $1,400 at that gig. People were going crazy. So that's just that experience, you know. It's just a single experience, but I'm going back to that same campground again. You know, it's very early in the morning for me to be up and making a video, but I was like, well, I'll make a video now whilst I'm up and about, having my first coffee. Sorry if this video is a little bit slow and all that, but you know, that's just, I want to be a little bit consistent and get my thoughts out there, even if I'm a little bit, you know, tired and stuff. Like, I played a gig last night and then went on a date with a girl and proceeded to do the deed. Anyway, catch you later, dudes. Catch you in the next episode, and yeah, hope you're doing well. Cheers, fellas. Bye.